Absolutely. And, you just touched on them there. Raptors, they're in an interesting spot this year. They're at number 4. And so a lot of different scenarios can sort of play out in those top 3 picks ahead of them there. So lots of options for them. They've been linked to a variety of players. Barring a trade, though, between now and draft night, which player's skill set that could be there at 4 for them fits best with the type of team that Masai and Nick Nurse are trying to build in Toronto, in your opinion?
Well, Suggs is the guy. Like, Suggs is the guy, not just because I think he's the best prospect in the draft. If you look at the 2 guys the Raptors have drafted, the 2 guards, well, Van Vliet was undrafted, but Van Vliet, I believe, only lost 1 game or maybe 2 in his final year. I think they lost to Kentucky in the Elite 8. I want to say something like that. Otherwise, they were, 30-2, something like that. And I believe Malachi Flynn was 25-1 in his final year. So they like skilled guards that can shoot, that can make plays, that can create their own shot, and that defend. And there you got a guy who's not just, a potential Van Vliet or Lowry, like he's a potential superstar. So with his level of athleticism, his ability to make others better, his winning edge, I think that the Raptors have obviously proven that they value winners. And when you put that with his athleticism, his character, his demeanor, plus the upside he has, he's been playing football for 6 months of the year up until Gonzaga, and he didn't even, like they've said, he didn't even pick up a basketball. So he was all in on football. And you can kind of see the way he processes the game at like a quarterback. The second an opportunity is available, whether it's an outlet, whether it's a play in the half court, he sees it and he can think the game at an elite level. And that includes as a scorer, as a facilitator, everything. So I think he fits the Raptors perfectly. And if they got him, I think they are now a not a contender, but a high level team that can compete in the playoffs because they have a winner, and B, that go-to guy that can kind of lighten the load off of Pascal and OG and guys like that.
Absolutely. And, we're a Canadian sports show. You're a Canadian basketball scout. We have to ask about some north of the border prospects here. So, number 1, do you see any Canadians who are draft eligible this year going in the first round? And number 2, who are some names that you might actually hear in the second round or possibly undrafted who will get invited to training camp opportunities and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's a pretty good crop. Josh Primo is going to be a first round pick for sure. Almost certain. I know he's got a lot of interest in the 20 to 30 range, and there's a lot of intrigue. Like I spoke to one scout yesterday. He was telling me he's going to be gone by their pick, and they pick in the 20s. Mm-hmm. So he's going to be a pretty high pick. He was a freshman this year at Alabama, 6'5", kind of combo guard. Showed he can really shoot it well, but has shown flashes that maybe he can be a point guard. Maybe he can run ball screens. Like, his upside's so high as the youngest guy in the draft. He's still only 18. So teams are really intrigued by him. And then there's 3 Canadians I would say that could go in the second round. But I would say all of them are probably close to locks to getting 2 ways because they're really good, and going undrafted versus being the 50th pick, there's not much of a difference. It's kind of better that you can go choose which team you go to, right? So the 3 guys are Eugene Omoruyi, who was a senior at Oregon this year, 6'6", kind of 3, maybe a 4, do it all, really good without the ball, really aggressive, can do a bit of everything defensively as well, so he can switch, I'd say 1 through 4, really strong body, plays really hard, and already plays a style of basketball that fits in with the NBA because they've all got their stars and you need to be able to impact winning without touching the ball. Mm-hmm. So he's a guy I know teams are really high on. I don't know if he'll get drafted, but he will definitely get a 2-way. He's a guy I'm really high on also. I think he's going to have a long NBA career. AJ Lawson has had an awesome pre-draft experience between the G League Combine and then the NBA Combine and their workouts, which I've heard have been going pretty well. He's shooting it really well. A 6'6" athlete, super athletic, quick off the bounce. Again, a guy that can do a bit of everything. Shot has really improved, much more a shooter, much more a wing than Eugene is. His ball skills and his pick and roll kind of skills need to improve a little, but he probably projects as at least a 3-and-D guy that showed, he He can defend a number of positions. He's just versatile. He just makes things happen. Again, without really needing the ball. And then you've got Dallin O'Banton, who's intriguing. He's a 6'9" point guard out of Nebraska. And he didn't put up great numbers this year, and Nebraska had a pretty rough year. But he is a pass-first point guard, true playmaker, a legit 6'9", pretty athletic, can rebound, can do a bit of everything. Another guy, but with the ball in his hands. So he's an intriguing guy whose name is rising. I've heard the Raptors like him. So maybe he gets drafted, maybe he doesn't. But because of the intrigue there, because of his upside as a 6'9" point guard, I think he's for sure going to get a two-way contract as well. So I think all those guys, whether they get drafted or not, are all going to get two ways. And it will result in being a pretty good crop, because I think they're guys that can kind of last in the league. They have the size and athleticism package, really, and skill.